Grace. How are you?
I'm well, thank you very much.
Praise God. It's nice to have you on the Lifter Talk Show this week.
It's a
Um,
pleasure to be on board.
Thank you. I would like you to introduce yourself. I know you are a woman of many parts. And if I start to introduce you, I don't even know where to start. I wouldn't even know where to stop. So I would like you to just give us a brief introduction of yourself.
Okay, well, my name is Grace Gladys Famarillo. I'm an author, speaker, and a coach. I've been working with women for the last 25 years now this year.
Wow.
I'm the founder of an organization called, one of organizations called Multiple Income Women, where I help women leaders and experts become well-paid thought leaders. And also, you probably know I'm a writer, so I've got some of my books behind me. I've written a number of books around emotional well-being, mental health, and other books around writing and publishing. In addition to that, I also run a training academy where I train individuals so that they can write profitable books that will generate multiple income. So that's me in a nutshell, or at least some of the things that I do.
I think what you mentioned last is the exact thing that we want to talk about here tonight. Okay. We want to talk about multiple income. Yes. And why do you think we would like to talk about this? We want to talk about this because of many reasons. There are many financial issues going on. So many homes are going through, some homes have even separated because of financial issues. So many homes are going through financial problems. Some women are, not even some, many women are living below the minimum standard, standard, yes. So below minimum income standard. And some women have had to probably stay at home for some reason, probably children, probably, so many reasons. People have different reasons, different circumstances. Sure. And attached to many of these circumstances, attached to them is the financial problem or financial issue. So I would like us to really talk about this. I know you're doing so many work on how women can generate a lot of income. And I tell you, this is so much needed even at this time. So many Christian women are out there doing one thing or the other, and they're looking out for money, trying to generate money for their projects. Yeah. We also have some women, with some with even many degrees. So it's not about, some with many degrees, but for some reason, they are not able to work. Yeah. I've also come to understand that there are different groups of women all over the world. Mm. Some call themselves millionaire housewives. Okay. They have learned to stay at home and to actually make money from home. So I understand that women are using God's wisdom in different places, different ways, just to generate income so that they can live on the income that they desire. They can live, that standard in which they really desire. And that's why I want you to talk about. Can you shed light on this, how women can generate income so that even women that are going to 9 to 5, many people have come to understand that one stream of income is not even enough anymore for you to live the kind of standard of life that you desire. Sometimes you have to generate income from 2, 3, or even more than that. Yeah. So I would like you to generate, because I know this seems to be your area at this time. This seems to be the calling of God upon your life at this time. So I would like you to shed some light on this so that a lot of women can listen to this and at least act on your advices.
Okay. All right. Well, I mean, I've prepared some points, but I think there's a key principle that everybody really needs to understand. Number one, God has given us all a measure of a jar of oil to trade with. or our gifts, our talents, or something or the other that every one of us has. There's not one person who can say they have nothing. Everybody, God is just a fair God, and he gives everybody something. And the trick, a lot of women, I mean, I'm going to talk about my boot camp later on, but, I've been interviewing a lot of women for the last 4 weeks, and the story is the same, whether they're business owners, whether they be corporate professionals, whether it be at stay-at-home moms, whether it be ministry leaders, whatever it is, everybody is either working harder and earning less, or they're in fear of their jobs.
Working harder and earning less. Okay.
Less. I'll come to that in a minute. Working harder and earning less. Some people, they're at work. I mean, I had a lady tell me she's a director and they've told them, forget about bonuses, we're about to cut your salaries. Okay. Wow. And we can't guarantee your job by July. So everybody is now in this kind of, state where they're all looking for money. And, in a way, it's a good thing, because when things like this happen, it's an opportunity for us to, what I say, pivot and align ourselves. So, making the issue, you talked about some people who have many degrees, which is true. There came a point 25 years ago, I will never forget, when I went to Tesco, started to talk to the lady at the till. She was a qualified pharmacist from Nigeria.
Wow. Oh.
I completely, I mean, don't get me wrong, I do appreciate, when I was a biochemist, I worked during the day and studied at night for 3 years to get a master's degree. So that, I don't belittle people like that. But when you kind of made that level your permanent place, or as one lady said to me today, I just want to settle, and as long as I can pay my bills and put food on the table and whatever, I'm happy. But to be honest, taking on board Christian biblical principles, that's not what God called us to do. As far as I know, he talks about us having more than enough to be able to share with other people. And so it's not even just sharing, or buying designer bags or anything like that. For example, that I also run a women's ministry, a non-profit organization. I call it my passion projects. So therefore, I need to be in a position where I'm earning enough over here to be able to fund my passion project. So whoever's watching this, the chances are you need to start thinking about, how can I use the talents that God has given me in my hands? And one of the key things I always say to women, this is not about going to get another degree. This is not about going back to school. For some people, it may be, but we have, where you are right now, you have enough to start moving forward. I mean, all you need to do is check on Facebook, on YouTube. You're seeing all these people. Some of them, what are they teaching us? How to put on eyelashes and eyebrows.
And they are making money.
And they are making. And so that proves the point. And, and I'm going to just talk with the very first principle I wanted to share this evening. The principle is, number one, or should I call it something that we need to get our minds around, is that creators and producers are the ones who rule the world today. Okay.
Creators and producers.
Anyone who creates or produces is the one who hosts. So if you think of it like your mobile phone, why is it that people will queue for an Apple phone 2, 3, 4 days before it launches? Because Apple have created a product that people want. Okay. If you think of farmers, clothes designers, the people that braid our hair, they're all creating something. So it's for each of us to find out, what is the thing in my hands that I can use to trade for money? So it's not about PhDs or degrees or going back to school. You may want to do that, but it's about using what's already in your hand. Because sometimes when we say that, people say, oh, I don't have time, I can't go back to school, I've got children, I've got commitments, and that's quite rightfully so. But we all have something. So principle number one, you have got to get your mind around creating and producing. So
creating and producing. So that's the first point we want to give to women: creating and producing. So it's left for women to decide, or for a woman to think and decide, what do you want to create? What do you want to produce? And that simply boils down to services. Like, services is it's not even about buying and selling. It's about what you can do with your own gift.
I mean, services and products. So for example, look at our hair. Somebody made this. Okay. This jewelry, I actually bought it from a lady who was in a store in a market, because she had this so people are making things.
Yeah. And do you know what? Someone told me once that she pays about 300 pounds tithes every month. And the only thing she does is hair making.
Yeah.
She makes hair for people. And that means at the end of the month, she can bring together about £3,000 every month, just making people's hair. Yeah,
She's
go on. I just chip that in.
Yeah. She's a creator.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, people who make birthday cakes, we take these things for granted where we think it has to be as, property or creating technology, or it doesn't have. At the end of the day, this is a key thing. I'm going to talk about this later on, but people need 3 basic things. People want to be healthier, wealthier, and happier. Mm-hmm. If you can provide a solution that fits into any of those, so the
healthier, healthier, wealthier, and happier. Okay, yes. So how can I make someone happy? How can I make someone wealthy? And how can I make someone healthy? Okay.
So we've all, good example. When the lockdown happened, there was a guy called Joe Wicks who came onto the TV and doing PE for school children, okay? He did PE classes every day during for a huge period of time. Now Joe Wicks has his own app. He has his own this, own that. I won't be surprised if there's a book, but I'm sure I saw a book contract coming out. So that's the healthy bit. So whether you know how to cook African food healthier, whether you know how to, teach people how to exercise, whatever it is, there is something that you perhaps know. So that's what I'm talking about, healthier. That's just one area.
I understand that, yeah.
But wealthier, it could be maybe, for example, you have an accounting background or bookkeeping background, and you can teach other people how to cut costs. I mean, that's one of the things I used to do for women financial independence, how to get rid of debt, as well as decrease your spending and increase your saving and investments, things like that. So again, so you can teach other people to do that. Then the third thing is the happier relationships, well-being, mental health, spirituality, all those. I mean, let me tell you a story, a testimony of a lady. I was watching an online lady who just turned her Bible study, into an online course. This woman generated £500,000 from a Bible study.
Wow.
A Bible study.
Yeah, that's God's grace, to be honest.
So, I mean, if you think of those areas that I mentioned, under that, there's like 20 or 30 different streams that you can look into. But bottom line is recognizing, getting the mindset, I need to be a creator or a producer. And that leads to number 2. We should be less consuming. So we're the ones who go and buy from everybody else, but we're not adding to the equation by producing our own. So there has to be a nice balance between that. So principle number 1 is doing more creating and producing.
Creating and producing
is about, stop being a consumer and just consuming. We're the ones keeping certain companies going. But yet, I mean, look at the hair industry.
Yeah.
You don't own that.
In actual fact, don't even go there.
You don't own that.
Don't even go there. As far as women are concerned, even if they don't have money to eat, they will have money to make their hair. They will have money for their faces. They will have money to look good. Yeah, go on. Yeah.
You know what many women used to say to me, Grace, I want to write a book. I'm like, praise God, go for it. And then, but I don't have money. I said, my sister, you're wearing your book. It's in your hair and your shoe and your handbag and your ashrabi. That's where your book money is, so reprioritizing. So, and this is a challenge. Sometimes I don't know whether it's a cultural thing, but we're happy to invest in things which you spend the money. Once you wear that outfit or do the hair, you can't get it back. There's no value in it. But if you said, okay, I was going to buy a bar of gold or buy shares or something that will generate more money long term. And so it's about changing your mindset. So as I said, the first one's about becoming a creator and a producer. The second one is becoming less of a consumer and you contributing to that whole equation.
Okay, yeah.
The third one is, as I said, it's about not reinventing the wheel. Use what's in your hand. Now, I remember many years ago when, my background, I was a biochemist, and then I did a master's in IT. And then I think later down the line, I did a master's in publishing. But, if you were to say, so who are you and what do you do? I discovered that, when I started to look inwardly and say, God, okay, so who have you created me to be? And he basically said in Exodus 4:2, what did I say to Moses? What's in your hand? Remember, he was telling Moses, Moses was saying, "Oh, he's coming up with excuses. I can't do it. I'm not qualified. I can't speak. I can't do this. I can't do that." He said, "What's in your hand?" And then I looked at my hand. I thought, hold on, I'm the kind of person that women always, I mean, this is before the 25 years, they always come to me, Sis G, in church, I'm going for an interview, what shall I do? Sis G, I want to, change my career, what shall I do? And I realized, actually, this is a gift that I wasn't even trained in.
That's called potency, yeah.
It's that's why it keeps going back to what's in your hand, and it may be nothing to do with your professional qualification. I mean, I was speaking to a lady who's joined our program this week, and the lady told me she was a contractor doing project management, but she had a natural gift to do something within the business, so much so that they're now paying her to come back and train people on that gift she has.
Wow.
Project management. So it's about understanding, what your gift is and what God has given you. And when I say gift, it's a broad term. It could be a skill. It could be a professional expertise. It could even be your life.
A hobby or something, yeah.
A hobby or your even life experiences. I've talked to so many women. Some, one lady who's coming on the program has been through an abusive relationship. People have been through trauma and they've overcome that. So I said to them, you know what, people who are in that situation want to learn how to overcome. That's a skill. That's something you can package and sell to somebody to help them move forward through coaching.
I think that area you've mentioned now, I think that would be a problem to many people. They know they have things, but how do they package it together? What exactly do they do? So these are the things that I'm sure women would also love to know. So apart from understanding that they have to be creators and they have to be producers. And you know what? I would actually say, because when we're talking about multiple streams of income, we're not talking about one, we're not talking about two. It could be two, it could be three, it could even be more. Yeah. So I think the normal 9 to 5 is not a bad idea. It's good if you're doing it, but then you can still do more with your gift.
Yes.
Yeah, and then the basic education, I'm sure that basic one is something that is just basic. I mean, you really have to have that. So if you feel like going to school, I would advise women, if you mind is saying go to school, because school is actually good. Training is good. It kind of enlightens the mind. It gives them confidence and increases people's self-esteem. So I would go for that. But at the same time, I will also say that it cannot give you every income that you need. So you also need to be able to create something with your God-given gifts. Yes. So, and that is where being a creator and being a producer, that is where it comes in. And don't forget the second tip that Grace has given us. He said that we should be a less consumer. Yeah. We shouldn't consume as much as we used to consume. We should reduce the way we consume things and generate more income into the economy so that we can be better. And then you mentioned one. Okay, now we mention something like how do they package this together? A lot of people have overcome different things. Everybody, in actual fact, every single person has an experience. And the older you get, the more you can look back and say, I've been through this, I can help somebody with this. But now, how do people bring this together? Where do they get that confidence to be able to? A lot of people give things out free. They wouldn't even be able to think that anybody will buy their products. Yeah. Women, they have to come to the level where they need to understand that whatever they are creating or producing, I think is about self-worth as well. It's about their self-worth. So they must be able to have confidence in what they have created that people would buy from them. Yeah. So what do you have to say about packaging gifts together? Yeah. I know we don't have so much time anymore. Okay. All right. Yes, and there are so many things I still want you to talk about. So very briefly, what would you say about how people can generate income, how they can bring their talents together and package it together so that people can buy from them or they'll be able to sell it. Yeah.
Okay. Just very quickly, I just wanted to mention, I talked about the education thing. The reason why I say it's not necessarily about going back to school, because I've noticed women will then use that as an excuse to say, okay, I can't go to school, so I'm not moving. So I just wanted to deal with that sometimes. But okay, so in terms of the packaging aspect of things, it's literally simple. First and foremost, you need to be clear what your gift is. Now, the challenge a number of people face is they say to me, they want to write a book. Okay, so who's the book for? Women. Okay, bless God, that's a good start. Who is it for? What do you want to do? I want to empower, encourage this. Okay,
that's good as well.
There are about billions of women in this world, and I don't believe that your message is going to be appropriate for every woman in this world. Let's break it down. So you need to be clear on what it is that you want to offer to people. That's number one. Number two, so it's no point trying to save the whole world. Don't have the Messiah syndrome where you're trying to use one resource or one tool to help everybody. Be focused, number one. Number two, be clear on who your customers are. And this is a challenge because sometimes people, again, with books, it's for everybody. Again, it's not for everybody.
Are you sure we're not going to do this again? Are you sure we should not have part 2 of this?
I think we should.
Because we can't finish the whole thing at this time. Okay. And there's so much to talk about.
Yes.
Okay. So because we need to talk about packaging together.
Okay.
We need to talk about, you mentioned something now.
It's a step. Number one, you can't package what you're not clear about, because if you're not clear, your customers will never be clear. And I'm speaking from experience. So that's why I said you need to be clear on what you're offering. Number two, be clear on your customers. Now, it's no point saying, so for example, I spoke to somebody this week and they said, I love tutoring 17-year-olds. That's fantastic, but a 17-year-old cannot pay your fee. So you need to think clearly on who your audience would be. Perhaps target their parents.
Yeah, parents
pay you. But so you need to be a lot more clearer. Number three, how are you going to deliver what you're going to do? So for example, you can be coaching, you can do mentoring, you can do training, you can do online courses, you could do webinars, you could be, you could do so many different things. Even somebody who makes jollof rice, you could have your video camera there teaching people how to do it, that's healthier or whatever it is, and put it on YouTube. Before you know it, you're getting subscribers. So it depends on what it is that you're trying to offer, whether it be a product or a service. Through technology, Zoom, mobile phones and videos, you can actually start to showcase what it is you're doing. But the next step is then this. How do people know who you are and what you do? So again, you're going to need to go out there and let people know that, hey world, I do, for example, somebody says, she does creative drawings for newborn babies. Very specific, very clear. So you can now target mothers and mothers to be.
Yeah.
So it's clear, and that's how you start to package. And the last point is this idea about giving for free. So many people do it. I say, unless you have a strategy. When I started coaching many years ago, I did it for free. Number one, to build visibility, get testimonials, and develop my coaching skills. But after that point, you need to charge. And if you're struggling,
you have to come back. So let's stop this right now, because if we go on, we'll be here for about 1 hour.
Okay.
So we're going to stop this week, and then we continue.
If this video has blessed you, kindly like, comment, and subscribe to my media channels. If there are any inquiries, direct them to lizsegun@gmail.com. Thank you.